Welcome back. All right, so who's up for another news video for your Tuesday, March 8th? I guess I am since I'm hosting it, so welcome back. Andre Sustr has been claimed on waivers by the Anaheim Ducks. Kind of surprised that he gets claimed. No surprise that DeKaiser passed through waivers because that contract likely wards teams off. But adding Sustr is, a little bit of depth on the blue line. Pat Verbeek also apparently gauging the market on pending unrestricted free agents and probably maybe some restricted as well. But looking at what the marketplace is, and again, it comes back to what I said in a recent video. Is it better to hold on to the free agent and sign them than give them up for what a team's offering you? So in the case of like Hampus Lindholm, you can look at the offers that come in, look at the value of those offers, and then say, we're better off to keep him and sign him, or this package is just too good to pass up and we can move on from him. So we are 13 days away from finding out what exactly Anaheim's going to do for sure. Danforth, a player who came out of nowhere to play for Columbus this year, a player who's a rookie at age 28 and has done relatively well. Good bottom six option for them. He has signed a 2-year extension with the Columbus Blue Jackets worth $975,000 per year. So congratulations to him, and it shows that, a player's not drafted, ends up going over and playing in Europe. If you don't give up on your dream, it's still possible you get there. Danforth is re-signed for 2 more years. So it's great for him. I think he's been a solid bottom six player for Columbus, and looking forward to seeing, how things go for him from here. And again, fourth liner, absolutely, but just the fact that he's a late bloomer, I think it's a good story. So apparently Domi might be on the block. The one thing is, do not ask Kakalainen about Laine. He doesn't want to hear about Laine. And he was mad, too, that there were rumors out there of players getting moved and who was on the market, which was news to him, which, again, is why I don't get into all the rumor mill stuff. But he's made it clear that he wants to keep Laine. There is no part of him right now that wants to move on from Laine. Why would he? Laine's been absolutely fantastic lately, so they're trying to work out a contract with Patrick Laine and keep him around long term. If they can do that, it'll definitely eat into that argument that nobody wants to stay in Columbus for too long. But yeah, Domi being on the block. The one thing with that is, so he's gone through Arizona, Montreal, Columbus. He's still young. So we're looking at a career where he's gone through a number of cities, and at some point we start attaching the tag of journeyman there for Domi. So we'll see whether or not he gets moved at the deadline. He's a free agent this summer, so it is interesting to see his name attached to the potential trade board. And I don't have a trade board, but yeah, Domi being on it is interesting because I'm not sure what the upside would be. Like, middle six forward, sure, but should you have him in your top six? Should he be on the third line? Where does he really fit in if you're going to use him to his to get the most out of him, right? So that's the question, and we'll see who picks him up. Interesting out of Minnesota, too. Scott Burnside reporting that Bill Guerin told the players he can't trade them out of this. So the team going on a bit of a slide. When the team was going really well, Guerin said that this was a team that he would have wanted to play for as a player, and he really likes them, and he has faith in them being able to, win a championship. And it doesn't sound like his faith in the team is necessarily shaken, though they're on a pretty rough patch, winning 2 of their last 10 and all. But he's basically telling them, I'm not, he's not saying he won't make deals at the deadline, just he doesn't see the deals at the deadline are necessarily going to be solely responsible for a turnaround. That has to come from within the room. And that is largely true, that, you can't rely on just the moves at the deadline, turning your whole team around. Doesn't really work that way. So Minnesota's got to get their act together because other teams are getting better. There's still, Nashville should be able to get things going again. Dallas is playing very well. And you've got teams like Vancouver, Edmonton, who are still close enough that if Minnesota doesn't get it together, they could find themselves on the outside of the playoffs looking in. So the NHL has donated $68,000 to Yaromir Yagr's Ukrainian fundraiser. Basically, it's for refugees in Czech Republic or Czechia, however you want to refer to it. And so since there's so many refugees coming in, this is to donate for that. So Going through this, I also found the link for buying virtual tickets to the game. So I bought a couple of virtual tickets to the game, which, I mean, I'm going to be watching NHL games. That game's already been played as far as I know. And it's really a symbolic gesture of buying those tickets. And it wasn't really expensive either. I think that, yeah, it wasn't very much at all. So the NHL putting in 68 grand, which has led to people saying, well, that's really cheap. The league could afford to give more, but they didn't have to give anything. So I see both sides of that. That it does look like a token gesture of just 68,000. Of course, Yager wearing 68 would be why it's 68,000. But yeah, I mean, at least they gave money to it. They did call attention to it, and hopefully a lot of people bought virtual tickets. I want to hear that this fundraiser raised a ton of money. Jaromir Jagr's a really good guy, so I think that's a great thing that he's doing. The Avs, sounds like, and this is from NHL Network reporting, that they're going to be all in at the deadline, and names attached to them. Obviously, Claude Giroux is the big name that's out there, right? So go ahead, put in whatever proposal you think will work for Claude Giroux. JT Miller, apparently they've reached out about, and apparently also stated on said video was that they may have and could have reached out to Patrick Kane of the Chicago Blackhawks. I cannot see Chicago trading Kane. Taves, maybe. Taves has one more year left at $10.5 million, and his production's dropped. I could see a team, if they inquired about acquiring Jonathan Taves, not necessarily getting a dial tone back. If you call them about Kane, I would imagine you'd hear laughter and a click. But that's just me. Yeah. So for Kane, I can't see him being not a Chicago Blackhawk next year. I'll go a step further. I would be very surprised if Patrick Kane doesn't stay in Chicago, even though they've announced that, it's a rebuild. Taves, on the other hand, I could see that being a move that actually happens. But they've surprised me before, and we'll see if they can surprise me again. So for the Avs, just turning over every stone's a good idea. Look for all kinds of rumors around Colorado at the deadline, because they do see this as their opportunity to maybe win a cup. One thing with Vancouver, any trade that they're looking at, whether it's Besser, whether maybe it'd be Garland, they are looking for help on the blue line. And this is the smart thing, that if they make a move, it sounds like it's going to be a hockey trade, that it wouldn't be a full-on sell, that it'd be looking to improve a part of the team, that being the blue line, to give them a better chance, right? Now, if they move Besser, I'm not going to be a happy camper, because Besser's been one of my favorite Canucks since the Canucks drafted him. However, it's a business in the end, and it's about trying to win. And sometimes loyalty to players can go a little bit too far. There are teams that are so loyal to the players that maybe they have, cost themselves the Stanley Cup, or cost themselves significant assets for a player who might be in decline, because they want to show that faith in that player and that loyalty. And whether or not that helps later on, of course, that's the argument, right? That if you show that loyalty to a player in their twilight years of their career, that it bodes well for younger players coming in, and for free agents to look and say, hey, you treated this guy really well. I like that, and so I'm willing to come and sign here for a little bit less than somewhere else. That kind of building that goodwill with the players. So look for an addition on the blue line for the Canucks if they do make a move. And I've seen all the same rumors everybody else has about young defensemen and who might be in there, but it just gets crazy. So again, I don't get into all the specifics of the rumors that are out there, but they're out there. Teddy Bluger, this is not a rumor. He's off the injured reserve list. He could play tonight. So Bluger coming back to play for Pittsburgh could be a pretty big game changer. Bigger, I think, than we might have expected when he got hurt. This was a team that had very little trouble navigating being without Crosby or being without Malkin. Bluger's out. All of a sudden, their penalty kill isn't very good. They lose a game here and there that they might have won if Bluger had been in. Bluger's agent has to be really happy, because it looks like he has more value than we might have thought. But Bluger's been my favorite Penguin for a while. Bluger and Rust are my favorites. The guys who work really hard, the guys who may not be your top end number one talented guys, the guys who work hard and bust their backsides every day to get through it. Those are the ones that I really respect, that maybe come into the league in a support role and then really break their way through to a better role. Mangiapane in Calgary is an example of that. Andrew Kopp in Winnipeg is another. So Bluger, I do think, I'll say this too, I do think there's some scoring upside there too. And I really hope he realizes it. And then maybe Zohorna ends up in the lineup a little more regularly. I've been impressed with him when he's been in. So, yeah. And news of a return tonight, too. Bogosian returns to the lineup for the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. So that helps them on the blue line. And we may see another bounce back and forth between these two. Right now, Florida 38-13-5. Tampa Bay 37-12-6. What I like with this is we're 55/56 games into the season. Nothing's been solved between these teams. I love the fact that there's teams that are close to one another this far into the season and show just how closely matched they really and truly are. So Florida and Tampa, unlikely to meet in the first round of the playoffs, could absolutely meet in the second round. If they were to meet in the first round, that would mean that Toronto or Boston would have to get first place and put them in second and third, or one of them drops to a wild card spot. Those are not very likely to happen. But this has been fun to watch, them exchanging first place. The difference tonight being, of course, they're both playing. So it'll be fun to see who's number one at the end of the night. So let me know your thoughts. Who do you think wins this race? Is it going to be Tampa? Is it going to be Florida? Don't forget to leave your thoughts on any of these items in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.